So
Hello.
I'm sorry, you're going to see a lot of me for the next half hour. We're just going to be here with you for another half hour. So if you look today at the social space, there's over 3 billion social accounts online today. If you look at the Earth population, that's 7 billion people. Well, you know, that's half the population. Of course, we're not talking about duplicates and all of that, but it's really significant to see that there are countries in the world where they have really barely any access for clean water and other things. They're online, they're on social, they're interacting with brands, with all sorts of content, and at least browsing the internet and being there. Of course, the top social platforms being Facebook and Twitter, not monetizing yet, but they're there. Instagram, all of Facebook's assets, and increasingly Snapchat, specifically in this part of the world. Snapchat is, I mean, we're in Saudi today. Snapchat is the third biggest country on, no, Saudi's the third biggest country on Snapchat globally. So it's big. If you tell us a bit more about, like, let's start by telling the audience what is Sayidaty Mall and when did you guys launch, and we'll talk, you know, we'll get to the digital stuff on Discovery as well.
So thank you for having us today. So Sayidaty Mall is a part of Sayidaty. We have been launching the website a year ago. Sayidaty, the magazine that you probably all know, has launched a marketplace where we invite all the sellers in fashion and beauty to offer to the customer that we have on the website to propose all the catalog that they have. So it has been launched a year ago, and we have around 10,000 SKU, and we are targeting to reach for 2018 around 100,000 SKU. So Sayidaty Mall tries to offer a catalog that is more adapted to the Middle East women, in particular Saudi Arabia, which represent today 85% of our website.
Okay. So Discovery, we're going to talk about you know, digital. Today, you guys are available on VOD, like we discussed earlier. If you tell us a bit more about what do you do on social channels, and we'll get to the commerce part in a bit.
Yes, so digitally for Discovery in the region, we are in either the business of driving viewership to our own VOD assets, or in the business of pushing subscriptions either to our Fatafit ICCA Online Academy, as Amanda mentioned, and also to our affiliates websites, where we are basically still selling the legacy product, which is the TV. So that's generally what we're doing across the board.
Okay, and today you're both content producers. Social media is a content platform on its own. However, we know there's that kind of the war between the publisher and the social. So how do you guys separate between, you know, like how do you use social as a content pushing platform versus a subscription or a social or a conversion platform for your sales? Maybe I'll start with you, Jad.
So essentially, whatever we're doing, at the end of the day, the engagement is driven by the content itself. So, and we have the benefit of having great content across the board, whether that's Fatafit or Discovery. So whatever the call to action is, whatever the message it is that we're trying to get to, whether that's viewership or subscription, we always ride that on the wave of the campaigns that we're creating through our content. So if we have a launch of a new season, of a new show, that's always the perfect opportunity to be very generous with the content that we're giving on social, and again to try to drive home the message that if you want more of this, it's available in our X, Y, or Z platform, whatever that message is.
Okay, and how does, and we convert that into Sayidaty Mall today, you know, you guys are producing content. How does push and pull work? Like using social as a push network for your content versus using it as a pull content for your website, for your e-commerce?
So in our case, it's a bit particular. Sayidaty as a magazine, which is in the main magazine with Jamila, Racha, and other magazines that we have in our network, is partnering with all the social media platforms. Today, Sayidaty is reaching more than 5 million users in Saudi Arabia, but it's not all what we can get today. That's online. Even though we have 33 million inhabitants in Saudi Arabia, we still have less than 50% of internet users. Within that, we still have only 60% of social media penetration. So it's a big market that is growing, that social media is taking over all the publishers in the market and other media. So what we do as Sayidaty as a magazine is that we are partnering with them. Twitter, we are partnered with Twitter, with Facebook, and we are publishing our content on their platform. The return on investment for Sayidaty Mall, because we are partnering with Sayidaty, because we are working together, plus the social media platform, is very beneficial for us as we are using Snapchat lately. If we count all the percentage that I gave you, we have only 9 million of social media users in Saudi Arabia. Snapchat has just announced that they have 8 million users on their platform. So they took over the whole users on social media.
Maybe I shouldn't tell that stat. I mean, well, Snapchat says they capture about 75% of the population of Saudi.
Yeah.
So of that population that is online. I don't know. If no one's Snapchat is here today, so I didn't say that.
So that's it in terms of the numbers. 9 million of social media users. They have 8 millions. And we can notice that from the experience that we have. We are using our Discovery channel that we have on Sayidaty. So if you just use Sayidaty.net, we have a Discovery channel for Sayidaty.net that we are using for Sayidaty Mall as well. And plus, we are advertising because all the social media, as it's a fact, it's still freemium. We use just to introduce ourselves and to work on our brand awareness. Then the next step is advertising with the social media platform.
And is social conversion for your mall an important asset for selling?
Absolutely. Social media has took over the whole market. So we know that even from our side, 70% or 70 to 80% of our marketing budget goes to social media. For example, if we talk about UAE, we have UAE, we have Saudi, the market are quite different, even though Facebook is not that strong in Saudi Arabia, but on Facebook, we can advertise on Facebook, we can publish on Facebook, and we can also retarget on Facebook and Instagram.
But today, what is the conversion rate? Today, if you're, for example, let's say you're making X number of dollars on Sayidaty Mall, if we take out your social conversion, what percentage of it is social conversion, like people coming in through social channels?
Social conversion in our website, if we took only the part that is not about our network of website, it's more than 80%.
Okay.
We have a little part that is coming from organic, but if we remove all the magazines that we have, because we are all connected,
yes,
which represent more than 70% of our revenue. That's normal as a media company.
Yes, yes.
But if we don't think of that, if we compare to organic, 70% is going to social media.
I think that's the case more and more for all of us publishers with the changing patterns of behavior that the users are having. You have to go and fetch the user where he wants to consume. So the user is on Snapchat, the user is on Facebook, the user is on Twitter. You have to go and drag him back and say, I still exist, and this is a struggle. And these stats are across the board, where with every single person I talk to in the industry is like, if you take away the social traffic from our networks, we collapse. And this is something that's it's healthy and unhealthy. But I mean, it's healthy because that means you have the potential to drive more sales and more audience and more eyeballs, because there's a vast pool of users out there. But it's also unhealthy because you are doing much more effort to stay on top of people's minds.
Yeah. And I mean, if anyone has a contradicting opinion, we're happy to hear that from the audience. I doubt anyone has a contradicting opinion on that one, but as we go forward in the conversation, today, how many people in the hall have used Snapchat? Okay, all the ladies. And how many of you guys have seen, I mean, do you click on ads for products when you see them on social channels? Okay.
A few head shakes.
A few head shakes. Do you feel like they stalk you sometimes? Okay. Well, you know, there's.
We work on that. Very hard.
Well, yes, I guess there's a fine line between being stalked and getting the right conversion. And today, if we look at these platforms and social specifically, globally, and Facebook's trying to roll out payment software, payment options. So is Twitter, Snapchat. I don't know how effective, and we don't have the numbers even on a US level, but we know that, for example, WeChat in China is is a social chat payment platform. It does all of that. So do you feel like the consumers in the Middle East, or with your other assets as well, within other countries you operate then outside Middle East for Discovery, are willing to pay through social channels? Do you feel like they would take that leap of faith?
Definitely. I think the most common issue when related to e-commerce is always trustworthiness, sales, fear of fraud, and it's been our experience for the various things that run out of Discovery, either Discovery Store, the Dplay subscriptions, Eurosport Player, and very recently we had a Gold Rush app on Steam, and we noticed that whenever we're using a third-party community software like Steam, for example, sales have been very good, and the engagement and the consumer feedback has been quite steady and strong. So I think there's a huge opportunity in having WhatsApp transactions or Facebook Messenger transactions, and because again, less and less people are. I mean, we're not where we were 10 years ago, where people were like, I will never put my credit card online. Right now it's more about the convenience. I want to have that transaction where it's most convenient to me. I don't want to have to pull out my credit card and have to put it into a form
and go to another website and verify myself and do all these things. Yeah. I guess then the follow-up question is, do you feel like the social channels are investing what it takes to make that experience seamless and convenient for the users? Are they helping you do that?
I think they are trying to do that all over the world. They are doing that in US. We are quite slow here in Middle East. Twitter implemented a customer service through Twitter. But social media definitely is taking a bigger place every day. This is what's happening, for example, in Saudi Arabia. We are moving from a very advanced ticketing system for customer service to WhatsApp customer service, because we need to adapt to the needs of our customers. 80% of the time that we spend on our mobile in most of the countries is on WhatsApp. So we can imagine that if we don't want to integrate this platform, or we don't accept the rise of the social media, we will miss something at some point.
So you guys today are providing customer service for Sayidaty Mall via WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's kind of convenient if you're ordering from a house-cooked meal from Instagram, and then you switch and order and do your customer support on Sayidaty, because it's really what everyone does, orders only WhatsApp kind of experience. Yeah. And Jean, I think we did have an interesting conversation about the usability of these social platforms and whether they're looking to empower you guys or not. So if you could tell us a bit about what you guys, what do you feel like social channels can provide better to help you do better sales on their platforms?
I mean, we had this conversation. I don't think they're doing us any favors. I mean, they're providing us with a very tough weapon to yield, where you can potentially slay a dragon, or you can chop your own head off. Because if you are not careful, you might end up purely being a social media page rather than having your own assets to leverage. So I think, from what we've noticed from the slow rollout of, for example, video advertising in the region over the past couple of years, is that they're really they take their sweet time, and they're not doing any publishers any favors, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more proactivity from social channels would help the publishers, but today, your incentives might not be, they're not aligned on the publisher incentives.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Do you feel like social channels need to be doing more?
I would believe they should do always more. We are quite lucky from our side, because we have been able to partner with them and to work together. So we are always in touch with Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay. We are always meeting them and working together. So we moved from having building all our business through our own media, online and magazine, paper, but now we are using as well, and they became a source of revenue for our website.
Okay. Anyone has any questions midway, almost through? Okay. So today, do you feel like people, how advanced do you feel like you're getting with pushing people through social to buy? Do you feel there's more left on the table? Are there other opportunities that you could be missing out on, new social channels that could help?
Well, effectively, it boils down to return on investment. I mean, effectively, if we could be on every single social channel, we would be. But at the end of the day, you have to measure what's.
That's very expensive.
So I mean, it's and it's again, we were talking about this. It's not about mirroring the same content. I mean, yes, you have to bend and stretch the content and try to reuse every single piece of content as much as you can. But at the end of the day, the experience is different in every single platform, and you have to adapt. So. For us, it's about where we can provide a second screen experience. It's where we can provide the necessary engagement. It's where we can monetize as well, because I mean, as we said, for Fatafit, it's a huge part of our revenue stream is branded content and product placement, etc. So yes, we will leverage every single platform to the best of our ability. But is there something being left on the table? Of course, but. You have to take the pragmatic approach and seeing where it is that you want to focus your energy and time.
When we talk about social media, a lot of what people think about are when we talk about social media, a lot of what people think about is influencers. Today, maybe I guess this isn't what's interesting to understand from the audience that's here today. If we could get a raise of hands from someone that's maybe bought something that was recommended by someone who's influential that they follow on a social channel. Has anyone bought anything that an influencer has promoted on a social channel? I mean, after reading reviews, obviously, not just because someone promoted that. Okay, we don't have a raise of hands, but okay, we have one raise of hand on the male side. That's better than I expected. But today, what we define as influencers is really broad. Today, you could watch a very influential show, and that could decide your car purchase. That's people don't think influencers are not just fashionistas. Let's just maybe put that as a premise. Since we're talking about social, and definitely influencers have been on good and not so great terms, been used to promote brands and sales of some product or conversions or etc. How do you guys, we'll start with Sayidaty, how do you integrate influencers into your social sales efforts?
Oh, they are definitely a part of it. When we talk about social media, I would always compare these influencers to our magazine, because what we are trying to do is to influence and to show what we know and teach others. And this is exactly what influencers do. And sometimes they are better than us, and we work together. If we open the magazine Sayidaty, we might find only influencers, whoever they are. They can be actresses, they can be writers, whoever they are always influencers. And using them in social media made us having the best way to influence our users and to show them that our product exists, they are right for them, and they can show the way that they are using them. When it's about beauty or fashion, showing a look or showing how to use a makeup is the best way to convince our customers.
How to style it.
Yeah.
Oh God, tons of content on that.
Yeah.
Wow. Jad, what do you think of that?
Before influencers, there were celebrities, and we are lucky to have our pool of celebrity hosts and chefs and talent that we leverage across the board. I mean, this is something that's deep rooted in the way that we've done things from TV into digital, and it's not going to change.
So definitely because these shows are quite influential. I mean, Cake Boss and these. I guess I watch non-news channels and more fiction-based ones more than others, so I'm quite familiar with them, and they do create an interesting platform. So we still don't have any questions. I guess people are tired. But do you feel like sometimes what is the thin line when working with influencers for you guys? Where I guess for the shows that might be you guys are on a local level, that might be more relevant than on a global level, because the shows are a bit more packaged on a global level. But on a local level, are there lines that you draw with that? Are there certain restrictions? Because the way that Fatafit uses the influencers is more to promote the subscriptions. And are the influencers being used on their individual channels? If you can tell us a bit more about that.
The line is drawn at it's a very abstract line, but it's basically we will not sell anything that we don't believe in.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. So whenever we're using our talent to promote any brand or any product, we are invested in making sure that that particular talent will not walk away from that feeling that his reputation has been damaged because he was pushing something that he does not believe in or that does not represent. So that's basically the broad line. However, we do leverage them not just on a local scale but international scale. So I mean, this is the benefit of having a company like Discovery, where we have a pool of talent, where we can always ask for what it is that we want out of them in order to promote our affiliates, our shows, etc., etc.
I guess also you guys have a unique model because your talent is homegrown. It is Discovery's own talent.
Exactly.
So you kind of the integrity of the whole package is better preserved. Said, do you feel like there are lines with influencers? I mean, today influencers are also quite controversial when it comes to sales. We've seen examples where, Kelly Jenner or other sports celebrities have kind of slipped in how they promote paid advertisements and so forth. So how do you feel influencers could improve but also like draw the line on where the red lines are, where to go?
As we come from a magazine that is respected all over Arab countries, the influencer that we are using for our website are usually the influencer that our community is using. So we are not trying to get sales. We wouldn't use Kylie Jenner to promote Sayidaty Mall. We have an image that we are trying to work on. We invest a lot on local designers and modest fashion, and it's something that we insist on. So for us, it doesn't matter how many followers we have or how many sales we can get. It's more about building something with our community. So the influencer has to respond to that.
Okay, so you have strict guidelines on what kinds of
Absolutely,
influencers you would work with, which is, I mean, fair enough. You say that he's quite a strong brand name.
Yeah.
So I guess social commerce today, do you feel like this would be the future of conversions for publishers and e-commerce?
It is becoming the future. We would hope that we would get more control of our users and customers on the website, but we can see that more and more it moves to payment gateways inside the social media platform. But for us to improve our customer journey is always better to keep them on board, to build our database and to know more our customers than the social media platform that knows them better than us. If we check at how much we know our customers, sometimes the information that we are getting is always quite limited. While if we just use Facebook as an advertising platform or Instagram or Twitter, we can get much more information than they are getting. So they have a full control on what's happening, and we wished that we could build ourselves that with our customers, and this is what we invest on.
Okay, Jad?
I think it's going to be just like marketing has become multi-channel. I think sales is going to become multi-channel as well, and we've seen this in some of the gamification apps that we have within Discovery. Is that in-app purchases, for example? This is something that when you're doing it through the store, through the App Store or Google Play, they're going to take their cut. Whereas if we want to sell the subscription within the game through our own website, we're able to lower down the price and create a reduction, etc. So it's going to have to do with which customer is exactly your target. Is it somebody who's more savvy, or is it somebody who's discerning, or is somebody who's going to be just looking for the convenience? So there's a space for both, definitely, and it's about how you position yourself, and each product is going to be
Catering for demographics,
exactly.
basically. Okay, fantastic. I still don't see any questions. I guess we're wrapping up. And wrap up, if you have one recommendation for people that are considering user social channels for sales conversions, what would it be?
Start with you.
You mean about
One recommendation, if someone today, if there's a publisher in the hall, or, I mean, a content producer or a brand that today wants to say, I'm going to start trying to use social channels to create sales conversions on an e-commerce website or through affiliate websites, etc. One thing that, like a do or don't, like do this, but definitely don't do that.
I would recommend to not do the mistake that we might have done at the very beginning, is
Okay.
that to not be confused about all countries in GCC, because they are all different in terms
Okay.
of which platform they are using. If we think about UAE is an expat country with 85% of expats who are using all Facebook, while when we move to Saudi Arabia, it's more about Twitter, Snapchat, or even Instagram. So it's always important to understand their audience more than the social media platform itself.
Because definitely they can do that with social channels and segmentation where they couldn't do that in traditional, not as effectively. John?
I would say the more whatever you're selling is deeply integrated and rooted within content, and something which is a joy to watch and a joy to consume, that's the key.
So integration and seamlessness, basically. Don't make them feel like, don't slap an ad on it, basically. Okay, I think that's fantastic advice. Understand your audience and create seamless experiences for your audience. Thank you guys very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being with us. It's great you've survived till now. You're amazing. This is the last session in this hall. I'd like to thank my panelists a lot, and thank you guys for being here.
Thank you very much.